Hello and welcome back to your personal code of conduct. I don't know, it's when I have something fun to say that my audio is just trash. Cause like the last time I tried to do the whole like modification and everything because the voice size wasn't as fat as like I was used to. And I'm like, fuck, this is going to be terrible. But I think it's because I had like something connected in the other end. So I only use that earpiece to listen to like whatever nonsense I've done, like in the middle of like the whole thing. So it's a personal code of conduct and Dio is existing. What am I talking about this week? I don't know. I remember like last week I had the whole like I'm talking about atomic habits, which I bungled. Okay, I did a very relatively like as much as this podcast go, a relatively like mediocre kind of stuff, and it was fine. It was like okay and fine and whatever. But now this week, but the audio was trash and I don't have anything to go on and about. So this week, I don't know, I think I'm just going to talk about the human condition. There'll be a lot of stopping and starting and maybe spacing. I'll probably delete a bunch of spacing. But what did I read this week? I spent the entire week being like busy. I did mostly like just stretching workouts. So the whole like muscle lifting that I was up doing, like waking up at 5 a.m. and working out again last week, it disappeared this week. But like I'm like, I hope to be back again tomorrow. But like, just promise yourself 30 more minutes, it'll be fine. So today we'll be talking about the human condition, and something heavy random place just fell down. We'll be talking about the human condition, and I'll be using Rincewind as an example. Like, yes, the discworld series. I cannot say I'm giving a full review because I was basically listening to it in the background while I was doing other stuff, and I was like listening to it before I slept. So like I managed to just like listen through those books are really small, because I just like when I was trying to get back into Discworld, I just realized that I read like book 1 to 10 in like a 2-day period, and I was doing things. I'm not talking about like right now, I'm talking about like I don't know when I read it, but I still remember the energy of each story. There are children screaming around. I hope this thing doesn't catch it, but it probably will. So it's like I just want to talk about like looking at like Rincewind as a character. So we'll be looking at Rincewind's wiki, my impression of him. We'll be looking at Two Flower. We'll be looking at what's the word? We'll be looking at the box. The box is a basic character. There's nothing much to say about the box, but I also like the energy that it gives in this kind of situation. And we'll be talking about some random things of why I have no hope for humanity. We are hopeless, and also I'm kind of anxious about something, but like it's not something I even talk about on a podcast where I go and talk shit. But it'll be fine. It'll be fucking fine. It's always going to be fine. And this is not even related to me anxious. It's like somebody that I care about anxious kind of situation. But like it'll be fine. It's always going to be fine. So once I properly figure out how to outline what I'm going to talk about, I'll start this. Welcome to a personal code of conduct. So basically, I'm just going to like randomly read out what's the word? I'm not reading out the wiki page. I know this is already turned into a reaction style, whatever, but like I'm going to read out the wiki page of Rincewind, Two Flower, Horn the Barbarian, what happened, how I felt when that happened. I think I'm currently at the point where Two Flower is on his way back to the Orient, the Agathian Empire that is based off like a knockoff China combined with Japan, combined with Korea, just like one super giant East Asian knockoff kind of in the Discworld equivalent of East Asia. And I'm like, it's going to be so freaking cool. But like, why do artists necessarily need to add like cultures that exist in the real world? I don't know, but that's like, it's not anything to be like that's different than everything. So we're starting with Two Flower. I wanted to start with Rincewind, but like the Rincewind wiki doesn't open that fast, or does it? So Two Flower, let's start with him. Two Flower grew up in the seaport of, I cannot pronounce this, in the Agathian Empire as a child. Now, the one thing I really liked about Two Flower's character, like, I'm going to talk about things I liked about his character. He's very imaginative. He's very hopeful. He reminds me of myself, in fact, other than the fact that I cannot see images. So the whole, like, imagining a dragon into existence, I cannot do that. Two Flower is the kind of individual that I'm like, I don't know, he's lost so much in his head that it's hard to believe that he's an insurance clerk. I'm not going to call it insurance. I know it's obviously like a parody of insurance. He's an insurance clerk who writes up insurance policies, and that's why he has a ton of money, like even by Agathian standards, in my opinion. That's my theory. I don't know, I'm not in the head of Terry Pratchett. So, in my opinion, Two Flower is the kind of individual, like, he decided to leave home. He's somebody's parent. He's a widower based on the wiki. I haven't gotten to the part where he find out that his wife is dead and everything. He's just like a middle-aged dude who decided that I have money, I have a vacation, fuck it, I'm going to travel the world. Even though that world is fucking Dick's world. Like, why on earth would you want to travel around Dick's world? And his main focus was like the European equivalent of like Dick's world. And sometimes I wonder, why bother expanding the world if all like the major like magical happening, the saving of the world is going to happen in one segment of Dick's world. I don't call it a problem. It's because most human stories have that. I'm like, what is the rest of humanity doing when you're out there saving the world? And it's just like, I won't call it poor writing because it's common enough that it's just normal human oversight. So, the bullets, yeah, cool, awesome. Two Flower grew up in the wherever I've said that he was apprenticed to Nine Reads. I think the main reason is because I think a lot of Asian names literally have like very direct translation, so like they're playing off on the words. Like even African names, most like people who utilize names that that still have direct meaning and still commonly used in a language. The meaning sounds very, very direct than like in words where like the word used to create that name is no longer like in popular usage. So upon arrival, he met the wizard Rincewind, which I'm going to go see his wiki after, whom he hired as a guide. After several members of the Assassins Guild and the Thieves Guild tried to capture and kill him for his money, he escaped that city I cannot pronounce, that dirty ass city. I like how I think he based it off like London or something, because there's always a giant river. Why must every major city have a giant river? Like it doesn't even have to, but I just realized it's human. You're trying to trade, you're trying to move things across the water, like major giant cities, unless maybe like you're Chongqing and you're at the center of, you're an inland city, but it's at the freaking center of a country where you can trade with a lot of other inland cities, which is pretty cool, I guess. Next is Two Flower and Rincewind traveled, encountered Hearn I can't pronounce the barbarian name, but that one is pretty young. Like because Light Fantastics follows Cohen, and Cohen is fucking 87. He was going to marry a 17-year-old. Let's go back to that side. What I like about like the general barbarian characters is that I know this is very straight. It goes on to like having the city watch character. I like characters and individuals that understand that they are not like smart in quotes. They are not book smart. They do not like have great value, but they're not fucking stupid. They have what they want, and they go towards getting what they want. And every other thing that is not a thing that they want is insignificant. It doesn't make. I feel I'm using this as a character study to describe like my opinion of humans and humanness, because like I've said probably a lot of times on this podcast, you probably get sick of hearing it. I don't think people are unique, but I think the circumstances that we are put around is unique. I think I'm more of a total nurture versus nature person. Like, yes, you might be genetically predisposed to certain things, but like you actually doing those things is highly dependent on your environment. It's just that the push that each person requires is not necessarily the same. But I don't think it's so random in the sense that there are just so many factors, but the amount of choices for each factor is just like not that many. But because there's so many, like the question sheet is super long, it now seems like that's how a unique human being is created. Like, no, we're not unique, but the entirety of humanity as a whole is unique. It's awesome, and that's fine. So let's go back to Rincewind, and I think I should be more liberal with the stop button, so like this thing sounds smooth and everything. The wiki also helps me to understand like places that like I wasn't really listening to, because it's like a summary of the story, and I'm like, I know the entire words of this thing, but I wasn't really listening to this part. So I like the problem with Two Flower is that his refusal is his delusion that everything will be fine. And I think this is just it's not a mistake. He just wanted to create an exaggeration of calm people, an exaggeration of people who have decided not to think beyond the world, who have decided to focus on the moment, enjoy that moment, and just be calm and not freak out and accept whatever is coming to you. This is an exaggeration because people definitely have their breaking points, unless like everything you're properly shielded. But the moment you have one bad experience, you're going to fucking break. So anyway, After escaping, I keep like chewing, whatever. After escaping, they eventually end up in Crow. I like that Bell Shamara Haros scene where they were talking about having. I think like, this is going to be more like a book review because I feel like I'm able to express a lot of my opinions on philosophy when I'm using like character archetypes, reacting to an article and everything. Also, I'm fucking lazy, which is like there's that. So, Two Flower and Rincewind traveled, encountering the barbarian. Now, the Temple of Bel, see me trying to say like 4 times, Bel Shamharoth, is somewhere that I'm like, no, this is just like a random normal demon story, like where they meet like someone who wants to consume their soul, and that's like the regular bits of a story. Then the next is being captured by the dragon riders of Weinberg. Oh, okay. I really like the father's attitude, but obviously in realistic sense, it doesn't make any sense for like society to be like you wanting to kill your family members and not taking any harm about it, because so yeah, it's just like this is how we do things and that's how it's not realistic. But I like how the fact that she was, I won't call it a feminist manifesto, she's just a horrible person, but so are our brothers. And I'm like, that's the reason why I like this story. It's not just, oh, she's just different for being a woman. And I'm like, she's a woman raised around horrible men. It stands to reason that she'd be a horrible woman. She's not a victim. She's his daddy's little girl. She's going to be a horrible person like her daddy. Okay, her daddy wasn't necessarily. We don't know the doings of the great wizard, but like 3 of the children were trash. And they were horrible people and they were bound to kill each other and it was going to be fine. But I like the fact that I didn't make it one dramatic, one woman's journey, or they didn't demonize the fact that she also wanted to murder her. Okay, she wanted to murder her siblings, but her father wanted her to murder her siblings and whatever. Then the next is they got to after escaping, they eventually end up in Crow. Now the problem I have with Crow is, okay, is it Crow people that wanted the slaves? I don't know. I think it's Crow people that wanted slaves. Because it's very confusing to me. I don't know who employed the sea troll and wanted slaves. Because I'm like, they write them as a very progressive, honest society where women have choices and women can be wizards and all those kind of things. And they don't have problem with educating female wizards. But they also write them as people who like kidnap strange people and cut off their tongues and make them slaves. The astronomer priests are weird assholes. And I really like that snippet about, I don't even know if he escaped. To show you how I wasn't really listening. I don't even remember because I read this whole thing like a while ago. That craftsman who kept on going back to his word, even though the caliph and everybody kept on chopping off his limbs. But like, I just realized that even though it seems like cold-hearted and logical, the problem with refusing like not just the advancement of technology by the torturing of workmanships, like why not keep them into your service and get them to dream of more instead of like building one mighty thing. Like what about auxiliary weapons? What about auxiliary, like yes, you built a giant wall, you built an amazing beautiful whatever, keep them in your service and make them build smaller things to make that thing even more magnificent. Like these people are more value alive. I know you might be worried about like people losing like their arms and everything, but like geniuses are not in short supply. You will always find another genius. People are not that amazing to the point that they are irreplaceable. I know it's fucking sad, but it's kind of true. So like there's no reason to pluck out the eye of the great artists because they're just there like, is he artist or artist? Me, but okay, me more. I don't know. I'm just biting over my words. I don't know why. Ugh. It's like, and you're having this entire conversation that it doesn't make any sense to like hide something because people are replaceable. Even if this person betrays you, then the fact that you enable an environment where knowledge is easily spread, there will be another genius, another amazing person that will rise up to replace them. So even if they betray you, you have options. You have fucking options. And besides, you only live once. Like, why is everybody so concerned about having the empire of ages when like no matter what you do, no matter how many people you kill, no matter societies you conquer, you're still going to die because you're fucking human. There's no immortality anyway. So let's go back to reading this thing. I wonder if it's getting my mouth biting thingies. Noise. We're looking at Krulians live at the rim and they built a circumference thing and they're obsessed with finding out about the sex of great Atuin. I think it was confirmed at the end of Light Fantastic that Atuin is a she, I think. I don't know. Atuin is probably a she. Like she's like Atuin, the great turtle on which the discworld, which is a flat world resting on top of elephants who are standing on top of a turtle swimming through space. And I really like the way like Terry Pratchett described the world. It's more of a he tries to use as many scientific words as possible, but then I realized that he was a press officer for a nuclear reactor plant. I think I don't know where I read that, but it's probably true. So he has a lot of science experience. So even though he's writing total and complete bullshit, he's using like the most logical and quote words to like describe like, yeah, this is not weird at all. Like, this is totally normal. There are rules. We're not savages here. I don't like the word savages. But like, we're not like, we are fancy science people. Like, let's use that. We are fancy science people. So yeah, Two Flower ended up inside the space vessel and was launched off the rim. Oh yeah. Then when you're launched off the rim, Kinney, the spell wants to save you. Like, because the spell that's stuck in Rincewind's head, like, saves him. When he returns to the Agathian Empire, he gifted Rincewind his luggage. Upon his return, I need to continue reading Sorcery. I'm going to skip Equal Rights. I want to read it, but, like, I've already read the wiki, and it feels like a good story, but, like, I want to continue, like, with Rincewind's life for now, before I go and look at, like, that first female wizard in the Unseen University. When he returned to the Agathian Empire, and this goes like throughout his entire thing, but he doesn't really go far. I think I've only read like 10 books, and now I'm going back to reread them. I'm not really reading, listening. When he left to return to the Agathian Empire, he gifted Rincewind his luggage. We're going to talk about the box eventually. What I did on my holiday. Then he wrote an essay titled "What I Did on My Holidays," which revealed many of the lies that the Agathian Empire had made up about the entire world. He was captured and imprisoned, but later accidentally rescued by Rincewind. He was appointed by Cohen Genghis Cohen. Okay, cool. They made like what's the word? They made like the barbarians kind of like Mongolians inspired people, which also kind of geographically makes sense because the Mongolians did a lot of attacking in both in like Central Europe and in like East Asia. So like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes geographic sense for like Cohen to become Genghis Cohen. Then when Cohen left his duties, Two Flower became emperor. Cool. That's a really nice ending for Two Flower. I haven't read that side. He and his government learned of Cohen's plan to return fire to the gods. Cohen is old. Why the fuck is he doing that? And urged Ankh-Morpork to take action. Personality and traits. Two Flower wore glasses, a look that caused many people to believe he had 4 eyes. Oh, okay. He also wore dentures, a concept which implied Cohen the Bacterian to have his cool grills. Two Flower was an optimistic but naive Taurus. He often ran into danger, being certain that nothing bad will happen to him. I don't think Two Flower is stupid. I just think he's very optimistic. But Rincewind is too much. He's not too much of a coward. I think Rincewind has a healthy size aversion for danger. It's just that everybody around him is fucking stupid. And I think that's why everybody like really relates to Rincewind, like, because he's the only one that is making logical sense. Y'all are just fucking crazy. But like, he now seems like the coward and loser of the bunch because like he's the only one that doesn't want to do fucking stupid shit. So there we are. I think that's enough for Two Flower. Let's go on to Rince with the person I actually want to talk about. Wait, where's that chick wizard person? Oh my god. I haven't got to that side. Well, let's talk about the discworld generally. Great Atuin is a giant star turtle, which is species Chelis galactica, who travels through space. 4 giant elephants, I can't pronounce this thing. Blah, blah, blah. Scroll down. So let's go on to Rincewind. I like the fact that Rincewind is the epitome of mediocrity, and the author makes sure to point out, even if he didn't get like his future ruined by a spell that just gets stuck in his mind. If he didn't get like his future ruined by a spell that got stuck in his mind, he would still be a mediocre magician. And I like the fact that he's honest about the fact that magic and power feels better than sex. And I like the fact that he's not like he's a coward, yes, but he's like not a in quotes loser virgin. Like wizards have game, but they prefer the feeling of like magic crossing through their bodies. Like it feels better than orgasms, as described by Rincewind. And the only time I've seen him like do magic shit. Rincewind the Wizard is a fictional character appearing in the Discworld novels of Terry Pratchett. He is a failed student of the Unseen University, and I like the fact that where Terry Pratchett is just very clear that it's not that there can't be female wizards. It's the people in Ankh-Morpork are just sexist, and the women who have an access to magic also think that the men in the Unseen Universities are also fucking stupid. But I think in the later books, based on what I've been seeing in the wiki, I don't know, maybe this is going to be like an entire like thing I'm going to be doing, but like I will probably try to like actually have like emotions and counter opinions that I want to talk about as I listen to the book, or like having characters and aspects of their characters that speak out to me or what have you, and all those kind of rubbish, rather than just like reading the goddamn wiki page. I know this is a particular mediocre one, but it has like good audio. I miss it. Let's go on. So he meets Two Flower, the regular story. Rincewind is most frequently seen wearing his hat that has the word wizard, WIZZARD, emblazoned across it in sequins and his luggage, which is just very happy that Rincewind's age is indeterminate. Okay, he was young. He was actually young in the beginning. Oh, cool. Every living being has an hour usually kept in death, which eventually Rincewind later describes this glass blower with hiccups in a time machine. Most likely as a constant mishap involving magic, the nature of reality and shifting to alternative dimensions. This presents something of a curiosity to Death, who keeps hourglasses on his deck. Oh my god, I like the fact how the way Death like looked at him and was like, oh, I have a hobby now, because Rincewind is fucking. And I like the fact that Terry Pratchett described him as an individual who is very uninteresting, and his job is to meet interesting people. But I'm like, he's most of us. Rincewind is the only one who has common sense, and everybody's just fucking crazy, like I said before. Oh, okay, cool. Over the course of his adventures, he has turned his cowardice into a fully fledged philosophy of life. He believes that when running to is never important, what matters is from. When it's pointed out that running just lands him in more trouble, his response is like, yes, but you can run away from that. Running away as a religion is a valid belief, blah, 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 blah. Include watchmen, barbarians, teenage demonologists, female member of a female impersonation troupe, and female member of a female impersonation troupe. Wait, what? I just finished reading it. If it's a female impersonator, that's like there's a female member of a cross-dressing group, and they dress like women, meaning she's impersonating a dude in a cross-dressing troupe. I think I have to read that book. And I like the fact that he's a hero. He's the hero of the Lady Luck. And Lady Luck is also the leader of good or bad luck. She's not like some kind of, I give my hero the good luck. No, she just gives you horrible stuff. Gregor is professor of cruel and unusual geography, chair of experimental serendipity, reader in slot dynamics, fretwork teacher. Apparently the result of the... May you always teach fretwork. What the fuck? Dying Arch Chancellor. These titles and their accompanying tenure include condition that I cannot have any salary, influence, or opinions. What? Values, there's meals and laundry. It makes sense. Name, origin, blah blah blah. Now, there's one thing I do like about Rincewind is I would say he's healthy, but that's fine. So I think this is all the characters I know about Discworld. There's this upcoming character. It's not upcoming. I say upcoming to me because I have read the book, but like I haven't reread the book, so I can't really talk about his character in length. And I really like his very evidence of like a human being. I think I'm going to check his wiki. The City Watch captain, Carrot something, the adopted dwarf. You're going like this is just a Rambly fun like random day that I'm anxious. Then I'm going to close it with, it's going to be like 30 minutes, and I'm going to close it with me just like talking about me as an existence and just be like, I was committed to this every goddamn week. Yeah, it's going to be a year in November. Woohoo! A year. And soon I will begin a season 2 with maybe like good production quality. Like I'll have that like those like mics that give you that podcasty edge. But like this is already good enough. This is going to last me like a year and a half, like 2 more seasons of this. So let's go on to character. I'll be liberal with stuff. We are going to character Iron Founderson. Now, he is a fictional character, blah blah blah, obviously. He's a lance constable and later becomes the captain of the city watch. He's like the head of the police force, which is awesome. And his dwarfish name is like means headbanger. I can't pronounce what the fuck they like imagine or whatever. Adopted by dwarf after the death of his human parents. Before he became a police officer, he started like working on a mine or whatever. Now I like the fact that he's a stereotypical perfect person because those people actually do exist. But the thing is that you can be a stereotypical perfect person, but your moral compass is, but like you follow your moral compass to the end. But it's a definition of does your moral compass harm people, which is something there's one thing. But in a story like this, I don't think his moral compass harms people. Totally honest, law abiding, determined to be friends with anyone and intent on enforcing the law. And I really, really like the fact that he's simple, not stupid. And I really like the fact that it took a lot of time to separate it out. That just because somebody is simple, somebody shows their emotion, that doesn't mean they cannot express themselves. That doesn't mean they're not confident. That doesn't mean that they're not logical. It's just that they've decided not to play mind games with anybody. They've decided not to form schemes. They've decided not to be fucking assholes. They've consciously decided to not be a deceptor. They decided to like have sense as a human being. I think that's what I really like about the characterization of Carrot, because he's not stupid. He's a good police officer, a law-abiding human being. But he also understands that people are not perfect. He also understands that people have malicious reasons for existing. People do things because it best suits them. And some people, I think the main problem with humanity, like I say, like a lot of times, is just like refusal to accept that other people are human. Refusal to accept that people have thoughts in their head. People have worries and opinions and fears and other stuff. There's so many things that come to my mind. I was like, I should record a voice note. This is me like randomly deciding to keep an expenses book. I have spent a shit ton of money and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm spending my money on. Says the girl who wants to pay rent next year by herself. Like, no, mommy, give me money. But like, I want to pay like rent, which is so weird. But like, I'll have enough money to pay rent. It's so weird. Because I don't want to move back home. I really don't. I'd rather live with like a young girl that I have nothing in common with, which is funny. But like, okay, she's whatever. Then maybe like I'd pay enough money to like get an actual apartment in this area, like make enough money like within by the end of like upper year and get an actual apartment in this area, like maybe look for an education opportunity and like expand, like be somebody who's capable of like growth all over the world, like and write a paper or to get a PhD opportunity. I don't know. It'll be fine. So what was I doing? I don't know what I was doing. I really don't know what I was doing. 7th semester, no thesis. Oh, I was thinking about the Aladiako person. Whatever. So what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about like just generally catch up. I'm trying to make the 30 minutes mark. This is basically just filler. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I'm going to do a song of the week. I committed to the fucking song of the week. I don't know what it's going to be, but like whatever. But maybe I should look for like I've already done like Welcome to the Internet. I look for a very dramatic, pointy, uppy, beaty song that will go like the discworld ideology and whatever. But like, whatever, if I find that kind of song, that'll be fun. Or maybe to be a Gintama song. I don't know. So what is my outlook on life? I think where I currently am, I'm going to end this with where I currently am. I'm somewhere where I'm like, I still sort of think everything is pointless. I'm still like sort of freaking out and I still don't know, like I still don't have a reason to exist, but like I feel small satisfactions completing a project, understanding code, having something tangible that I created, completing a task, like whether like I really like it when it's complex tasks, not just like simple one by one things, like complex tasks that I did well, that I'm proud of. And obviously, I want to like do the project and focus on formatting and all those stuff. And it's going to be fine. It's always going to be fine, and I'm going to be happy, and everything will be perfect. I don't know. It's just I think I want to answer a question like, because I'm middle class, I have this mindset that I feel that's usually I kind of relate to Flower anyway, like. You feel like it's not going to affect you as long as it's not involved. I'm not going fucking stupid shit like to Flower, but like I feel like I was born enough in like, even though like Nigeria is a third world country, I feel like I was born in at a station where yeah, like even though there are big things like overpopulation and like people having 24 children and those children coming to attack me and my life being fucking ruined and us like being overrun by war and everything, and I'm very sure like the Syrians thought the same thing. I'm very sure like the Libyans thought the same thing. And again, we don't even know the correct state of their country. Like it might still be completely and totally fine. Like the middle class people might still be fine. Things might be fucking expensive. Like the way things were in the like 90s, where our country was a literal hellhole for people who were poor. But like there was like, you get to a certain level of education, a certain level of stability, and you're just living above the line that you just don't want to kill yourself. And I'm like, I think that is like the lowest I can get. That is like the lowest I think people of my social standing can get. Like you will still have this like emptiness that you did not succeed, you didn't do anything that made any sense, but like you just know that everything is going to be fine. And I think that is like where I relate it to flowers. Like I see myself that even if I don't end up emigrating, I don't end up like saving my country or like starting it. I just see myself in a position where I'd be able to afford a home, raise a child who becomes exactly like me, and be fine. I don't know. It has been a personal code of conduct. I still don't know what song I'm going to add. I hope this sounds better than last week. I doubt if it will. There's a lot of noise in this one, but like I'll try and do the whole compression, normalization, and whatever I did last time, because this one is like there's a lot more like hype to the volume, so I'll try and do that. So have a lovely and productive week. I don't know. I'm sending any very like mediocre Happy Discworld podcast for just being sad. Have a productive week. Bye.